Welcome to the Business 4000 show. My name is Hallie.
I'm Lauren.
I'm a management major here at the Hayworth College of Business, and I'm graduating in December 2019.
I am also graduating in December, and I'm graduating as an entrepreneurship major.
So, Lauren, today, tell me a little bit about your Spurs experience.
So, one event from the Spurs program is the entrepreneurship forums, and I've attended so many of those just because it's my major. And so, being a part of those, I get to see business owners tell their story and tell us their mistakes and the experiences that they have gone through. So it will help me in the future figure out what I should and should not do with what I want to do.
Yeah, those are really great.
What about
programs. For me, the Spurs program really brought me the business externship program, where I went to Stryker for HR, I went to Kellogg's for supply chain,
big companies,
and I went to Pepsi for sales.
Okay.
And that was a huge stepping stone, I think, in my career here and just being a student, because that was what finally made me decide on my major and where I was going and what I was good at and what I liked. And so that experience was huge for me, and that program's just, I can't say enough good things about it. Another Spurs thing I would say is when we took business for transfer students, the business prep for transfer students. I think that was huge for the Spurs because everything we did counted towards the Spurs, and even though sometimes we didn't want to go,
exactly.
they helped. They helped immensely, and after the events, I was really glad that I went, and that was really including the career fair prep events, the speakers, the EndNote speakers, breakout sessions, and I think a really big one of Spurs was also the business etiquette dinner. That was the good one.
Yeah, that's what I liked about
event.
Spurs. It gets you involved and experienced in many different things that you're going to need outside of college.
Right. And I know my introverted self, I would have never gone to any of those things if it weren't for Spurs. So
exactly.
I think it really helps kids out that have to push themselves to get involved, and especially in their own major, in their own college.
Okay, so Hallie, tell me more about your WMU experience.
For my WMU experience, I really wanted to emphasize the getting involved, and not only in the Hayworth College of Business, but campus as a whole. And Fall Welcome, being an ambassador, was huge for that, where we accumulated 80 plus hours of volunteering, and that was getting to know, people all over campus and not just in the Hayworth College of Business, because I think we are here all the time and we don't get to know people outside of the college. So that was huge for me, and getting to know everybody else and getting to know people in the theater department and health and human services and things like that. But as the business school goes, it helps so much that the school is not enormous, where we know all the faculty, we know all the students. You and I have had classes together for
multiple times
since we've been here, since our first semester.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's helped so much, where you recognize people, you recognize faces, you recognize professors, and they remember you too. And it's just a sense of belonging. It's networking. It's connecting on LinkedIn, and after we graduate, talking to them.
Exactly. It's nice to have a sense of community.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. So definitely some professors that have shaped my experience, and kind of ones that I kind of want to shout out is Doug Lepisto, Derek McIver, Decker Haynes, Tim Palmer, and all the advising staff that have helped every semester, especially at the Zane Career Center, Danielle and Bob and Geraldine and Jennifer. And my first semester here, Jennifer, my anxiety was through the roof. I wanted to go back home, and she recommended 10 business books, just to keep me busy, just because I needed to stay busy, or else I would have gone back home.
Yeah.
So a lot of those people in this college have had a huge impact on my experience here, and I'm just really thankful for that.
Okay, yeah, same with me. Like you said, Dr. Palmer, he was an extreme help last semester with the
service learning.
Yes, service learning.
Yep.
And just with that whole experience, it was just very rewarding that he was very supportive of everything, and he really wanted students to go out into the community and provide that like volunteer experience for them and like allow these companies to have somebody to help them.
Right.
But it was just like the way that he had it all planned out, it was just very rewarding with that. And then also Dr. Offstein, she's absolutely one of my favorite professors because she, first of all, she's like specifically to entrepreneurship, but she cares so much about like the students in general and she wants them to succeed so much. So she, like Danny and I always talk to her and like we're going to be close with her the rest of our lives because we've gotten so close to her over the years.
Yeah. Okay, Lauren, so now tell me a little bit about your professional expertise that you've experienced here.
Well, I went to the part-time career fair like 2 years ago, and I met with Confections with Convictions, and they told me it would be, it's a local chocolate shop, but she told me that it would be a volunteer experience and I would like come in like a few hours once a week, and that's kind of what I was looking for, and I'd be like, I was the marketing intern. And so that was a huge experience because their whole company is very mission based. It's like based around the employees coming in, and so it was very rewarding that like mission based businesses are very more important in the community, and people care more about them because they know that they're impacting like people and making a difference in the world. But I'm now the marketing manager for that, so that's really cool because I've gotten more into like the marketing field with that. So I'm working more strictly with like Instagram and Facebook, and I run all those pages by myself. So it's nice that I like now have a higher
So it turned into like a real professional experience.
And like I still just volunteer there, but it's still such a rewarding experience, and like it's something I'm going to utilize later in like my life. So, but what about you? What about your professional experiences?
Professional experience as far as that goes here, I would say, especially in the business prep for transfer students, I think that was like a huge stepping stone period, because we literally had employers come in and like interview us, and like you would have to come up with the answer, you know, on the spot, do like the SWOT analysis and like all that. And I think that was just really good practice period. And I would say the resume revamps, and when I was kind of ISM for a little bit, like we had to do that. I would say other than that, the professional side of things, I would say the service learning was, I think, a huge part of that. And because I, you know, after I graduate, I want to continue to volunteer and I want to get involved with something like that. But it was also the difference of going and volunteering and being professional while doing it. And it was listening and learning, and because I went to the Chef Center, which is a therapeutic horse riding center. I had no idea about horses. I had no idea what was, you know, and then all the kids, you know, have some type of disability. So I've never really been around kids with disabilities. I've never had experience, but it was huge to have to be professional in that setting and have to listen and have to just learn as you go and not get mad and not get frustrated and just have to like emotionally control yourself. And I think in work we're going to have to do that every day. Is whether it's with people or situations, like emotionally we have to be intelligent in that way. So that's what I would say for professional expertise.
So Hallie, tell me about like the career readiness chapters that we discussed in class.
Yeah, those were actually super helpful, more helpful than I thought they were going to be, because in some other classes, I mean, they're pretty just pointless and you can skip right through them. But
Agreed.
These ones were actually helpful and really made me reflect on like my whole experience here, and kind of like each chapter was basically what I felt like each year was, or like each semester. Like kind of each semester I was like, oh, like this is how I learned how to make an email. I learned how to talk on LinkedIn. I learned how to talk in person. And,
it's
like,
different for each class.
Shake a hand. Like just simple things like that, and just like looking people in the eye. And I think it kind of addressed all of that. And I think it's important before we graduate to have that reminder and be like, okay, like this is what you've learned, now it's time to put it into play. So I would say like specific ones, definitely the communication and the emails and the messaging and what punctuation to use, what's appropriate, what's not.
Communication is like one of the most important things, especially in business.
And what's not important, and like how to communicate what you want. Like, I want this report done by this time, and like have things written out well where people can understand them and not have it be blurry and be like, well, what do you want? Like, things like that. Because I know personally I'll be doing a lot of that and asking people to do those types of things for me, and I will also be doing things for other people. So to go along with that, I would also say the interviews and like the elevator speech, because I mean, I feel like other than my first year here, that time in between, you don't think about it unless you're actually doing it.
Exactly.
And you're actually going to the career fair and you're putting it into play. But other than that, it's kind of like not talked about anymore, and it's kind of like forgotten about. And I was like, oh wow, like if I did make an elevator speech right now, like what would I say? Because my elevator speech now is a lot different than what it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, okay, well, let's give this another shot. So, so yeah, they were pretty helpful, and I'm really glad that we did them. What chapters were helpful for you?
I would say professionalism and work ethic for sure, and then the other one that spoke most to me was obviously communication. That's key in all of them, but teamwork and collaboration. With that's very similar to communication, because you have to have the communication with your team in order to achieve what you need to finish. And that goes with work ethic. Like, if you don't have a good work ethic, then it's not going to be like achieved, and you're not going to finish your goal. And that's like extremely important in like obviously
aspect,
school,
really.
but like especially in the workplace. But.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so our last piece of our talk show today, we're going to talk about co-curricular experiences that have helped us transition into our workplace and industry and things like that. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so with me, I basically restarted the entrepreneurship club last fall, and we basically rebuilt it from scratch because it wasn't like what our members wanted it to be.
I remember
and so, yeah,
a couple years ago.
Exactly. Like freshman year, it wasn't exactly what I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
So last year, I had the opportunity to be a part of like the group that got to restart it.
Okay.
And it was basically like building a business, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do, and like I have done. So it was more significant in all the little details and like the teamwork that you have to use to like be able to get these things done.
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Right.
But,
yeah, that's awesome. I'm really glad you decided to revamp that.
it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it. But what about
good for you. I'd say a huge part, and especially this year and kind of in the summer, is my management 40-10 class.
Okay.
And in the summer, I was management 30-10, and I was just like a team member. And now I'm a leader. So I have a team of 7, and I have 7 students, and they're my team. We're in charge of putting together deliverables and researching. And so this semester it's been huge because the company we're working with, we have been able to travel to cities. I sent my team, there were 3 people that went. They went to Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, that's
to survey people and kind of find the market there and see if the product we have, if there's a market in Cincinnati. So that was huge, and like having to put a survey together and having to be approved by the company and buying hotel rooms and like making sure it's all organized. I didn't go, but it was a huge part in making sure everything went smoothly, and really just being a leader, period. Like, I have never had an experience like this besides an internship where I'm in charge and I'm giving them grades, and I'm in charge of their grade. Like, it's like, oh my God. So that experience has just been crazy, and it's just every day it's something different, and it's critical thinking and thinking on my feet and not knowing what to expect. And I feel like that is the closest thing to the real world that I'm going to get here. And it's just the LBS program is like blowing up right now, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Exactly,
so that is like the closest co-curricular experience, because we have done so much outside of the classroom. We visited the business in Grand Rapids with my whole team, and got insight from the CEO, and it's been a crazy, we got 2 weeks left, but it's been a crazy experience.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
I've learned a lot, so I'm really grateful for that
all
class.
Matters. It's all about learning.
So,
but, well, thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you. Thanks, Danielle.